winter night. The bus terminal glowed with a cold, unforgiving light. Clara sat on the floor, her back against the wall, knees pulled tight to her chest. She wasn't sleeping. She was counting coins, her fingers numb. She stopped when she realized it still wasn't enough. Her shoes were cracked, her coat smelled like rain and old fear. Her hands shook not just from the cold, but from how long it had been since anyone had touched her without wanting something in return. People hurried past, a river of faces, careful not to look her way. She used to be one of them. Clara was 31. She had been a nursing assistant. She had a small apartment. She had a daughter. Until one winter, everything collapsed. A mother got sick, and the hospital bills arrived faster than paychecks. She missed shifts to be by her side. Then came the phone call no parent ever survives. Her daughter's heart had simply stopped during the night. After the funeral, the world kept moving. Clara didn't. She lost her job. Then her home. Then the belief that God was still listening. That night, in the echoing terminal, she whispered without sound, "I don't want to die. I just don't know how to live anymore." A security guard approached her. "You can't stay here," he said, not unkindly. 5 minutes. Clara nodded. She always nodded now. As she gathered her few coins, a small voice broke through the noise. "Are you cold?" She looked up. A little girl, maybe 5 years old, stood before her, her big brown eyes filled with a child's unfiltered curiosity. She wore pink mittens far too big for her hands. Clara tried to smile, a painful crack in the frozen mask of her face. "A little." The child looked down at Clara's hands, red and raw. She reached into her tiny backpack and pulled out a cookie, carefully wrapped in a napkin. "My grandma says angels get hungry too," the girl said simply. "So they need help sometimes." Clara's throat closed up. "Oh, sweetheart, I can't take that from you." The girl just shook her head, her expression serious. "You're not taking it. You're receiving it." Behind her, an elderly woman with silver hair and tired eyes watched, giving them space. The cookie was still warm. As Clara held it, something inside her finally broke. She cried in a way that had nothing left to hide, the sobs shaking her entire body. The woman stepped forward. "My name is Evelyn," she said softly. "I don't have much, but I have a couch, some soup, and a quiet place." Clara hesitated. Life had taught her that kindness always had conditions. "I'm not a good person," Clara whispered, the words catching in her throat. "I lost my faith." Evelyn nodded slowly, her gaze unwavering. "Faith doesn't leave when we fall," she said. "It waits." That night, for the first time in months, Clara slept under a roof. She woke up screaming from a nightmare where she was trying to save her daughter, her arms reaching for a phantom she could never hold. The little girl, Lily, climbed into the blanket beside her. "I have bad dreams too," she whispered. "But Grandma says angels stand by the bed to watch over us." Clara didn't answer. She didn't believe in angels anymore. Days turned into weeks. Clara helped clean the small apartment. She cooked when she could. She stayed quiet. One evening, she told Evelyn everything, the crushing guilt, the white-hot anger, the way she stopped praying because the silence felt like God turning his back on her. Evelyn listened without interruption. Then she said something that stunned Clara. "I buried my son 20 years ago, and my husband 10 years after that." Clara stared at her, shocked into silence. "I didn't survive because I was strong," Evelyn continued, her voice gentle but firm. "I survived because sometimes something carried me when I couldn't walk." That night, Clara prayed for the first time in years. Not with words, just with tears that flowed freely. a silent conversation with the heavens. A few days later, social services came. A temporary home had been found for Lily. The little girl hid behind Clara, her small hands clutching Clara's worn-out jeans. "I don't want to go," she cried. Clara's heart broke all over again. She knelt down, her own voice shaking. "I can't save you." Lily looked up at her, tears streaming down her face, and said, "You already did." That night, Clara dreamed she was back in the bus terminal, cold and utterly alone. But this time, a soft light emanated from behind her. No faces. No wings. Just a presence and a feeling she hadn't known in years. You are not abandoned. 1 year later. Morning sunlight fills a small, clean kitchen. Clara is making coffee. She has a job at a community clinic now. It's not perfect, but it's real. Lily runs past, laughing, her backpack bouncing as she heads for the door. Evelyn watches from the doorway, a quiet smile on her face. The house is small, but it's full. On the wall hangs a simple crayon drawing, 3 figures holding hands. And above them, faint golden shapes that look a lot like wings. Clara closes her eyes, breathing in the scent of coffee and the sounds of her new life. She whispers softly, "Thank you for not letting me fall alone." She still doesn't know what angels look like. But she knows this. Sometimes they come as children with cookies. Sometimes as tired women who open their doors to strangers. And sometimes they protect us so quietly we don't even know they're there. Holdings up until we learn how to stand again. Not every miracle arrives with thunder and lightning. Some come with the simple gift of warmth. With presence. With a love you feel long before you understand it. And sometimes, when you think you've lost your faith has been holding you all along. Thank you for watching, Ate. If this story touched you, please share it with someone who might need to hear it. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories of hope.